icon, and just in case that you I want to bring another correction on Daniel 11 as well, once again, because
said, I saw in my vision victories. Yep. This is a historical account of what, because Alex went more on verse than that. No, that wasn't Artaxerxes. Yep. Artaxerxes. Yep. Later on. And let's go see. This is
it's another. Now we pretty much explained this verse, so just another correction on particularly in verse 2 still. Just another correction because I said that well, I didn't say it, but it could have came off confusing. Right here, I'm gonna play this part, and me and the brother were on verse 2.
Let's see. This is verse 3. Unless you have more on.
Now we already mentioned basically that the 3 kings there. The first 3 was in Daniel 11 and 2. Yeah, it was verse 2. In Daniel 11 verse 2, which goes into that whole verse is going into 100 years of history, passing 100, about like 100 years in history. When you add these 4 kings rule, when you add them together, it's like close to about 100 years, maybe a little over. I ain't checking it, but I'm just guessing. Yeah. We already described who those 3 kings are. The first is Cambyses. The second is Darius the First, or also known as Darius the Great, which I have to correct myself in the last video. I said Darius the Second, which is really Darius the Great or Darius the First. I was confused with the first Darius mentioned in Daniel 5. Darius the Mede, who was about 60 years when he took down Belshazzar and Nebuchadnezzar, Babylon. Then the third king was, we mentioned him, who actually selected. The second one is Bardia, who was a brother of Cambyses the second. Then the third is Darius the First, also known as Darius the Great. And the fourth one is Xerxes, the one mentioned in Esther, the book of Esther.
Verse that. No, that wasn't. Verse 3. And a mighty king shall stand up that probably involved. More than one. Was probably involved, and then he got killed by Xerxes' son. Yeah. Artaxerxes. Artaxerxes. Yeah. Later. And let's go. More than one. Was probably involved, and then.
So we were mentioning here how basically Xerxes the First got assassinated. Xerxes the First got assassinated by one of his sons. They say was involved, which I believe that one of his sons was involved, which was the next king that followed Artaxerxes. He got assassinated by his own son Artaxerxes, and then one of his princes, generals, was in on it, whose name was Arda Barnes. Basically, right there is what I was trying to say.
He got killed by Sergey's son. This is Artaxerxes. And let's go to this is verse.
I just wanted to make sure, in case there was any confusion on that. Salakia. Shalom.